Hello, this is Sabina at Cross Keys Crafts with a really short video today. Reason being is I'm very busy the next few days. We are celebrating the 10th anniversary in our pub here in North Wales. I am going to Lavinia Stamps to the Dreamatorium all day tomorrow. I said to my husband I'm taking the day off. And on Saturday we're going to a wedding, so this is the video for Sunday. And as I said, I know I don't have a lot of time to record a video, but sometimes we don't have a lot of time to make a card. So I would like to show you an idea that I got when I saw a design team make on the Visible Image website. And what it was a sort of rectangular strip which had been stamped, just a strip of colour like a tall rectangle, and then just a flower stamped across. And my thought was, well, I can really make this easy. At first I thought, what can I stamp with? And I thought I could cut my own craft foam, you know, like the kids foam. You can cut that into strips, put it on an acrylic block, stamp with that. Or I thought I could stamp with the side of a stamping block. I don't know if you have those. So that was all my ideas. What I don't like about those techniques is you have to clean it up afterwards. So I thought I'm going really silly, and it works. I thought I'd just stamp with my ink pad. And that's what I did here. I'll show you a few variations in a moment depending on what ink pads you had. So I've just got my card here. I cut that to 5.5 by 3 3/4 to go on a 4 by 5 7/8 card base. And I would choose a lighter colour, so I wouldn't choose anything too dark, because whatever you stamp on the top, especially if you stamp in, you know, like a dark colour like black or so, you still want the image to stand out. So all I did was take my juicy ink pad. I'm taking the lime punch again because I really like that. Make sure you angle it correctly, and you just place it onto the card, press it down a little bit. Don't need a lot of pressure because they are very juicy. And there we go. Got a perfect oval there, perfectly blended. How easy is that? I'm setting this aside because it will take a moment to dry. These are prepared yesterday. For this one, I had a try run stamping the Distress Oxide Salvage Patina just from the pad. And I didn't have a lot of ink on the inside. I'll show you my pink one as well, which is the picked raspberry. So it looked a bit like that. So because these have got a different texture, these pads, they're more like a textile on top. So I just went in with my water brush and moved the colour about, but I didn't like that look. This, by the way, reminded me of a technique that one of the Lavinia design members showed quite a while ago. I never tried that, and that is inking up the lid on the edges and then stamping with that and then moving colour about. But I didn't want to have to clean this up afterwards, so I thought I'd use the ink pad. So what I did instead, but this is just a trial piece, is I spritzed my ink pad a little bit with water, and then I had more to play with. So I thought I'd do that live on camera. You see what we can do. I think I'm using the pink one again, but obviously with this technique, because it's wetter, you have to leave that to dry before you stamp over the top. So I'm just using the remainder of my water. Should really have filled this up. So I'm just doing it on the side because I don't want any water to get on this. So just really just a little bit of a mist. You might even want to leave that to sit a little bit. And I'm not worried about it being damp because I just put the lid on. I think it probably will even revive my ink pad. Not that I use this much. And again, just place in the middle. You can put it at the top or the bottom. So again, a little bit of pressure, not too much. If you wanted to, you could put a squishy mat like a silicone mat underneath. There we go. So it's, as you can see, it's a bit more vibrant, but I could have probably applied a bit more pressure in the middle. I'm not worried about that. I sort of like this sort of grungy look. Let me just zoom in a little bit for you. but obviously it's not as solid because, as I said, these got like a texture, like a textile bit. They're made differently, these stamps. So as I said, I'm leaving that to dry. And then the other one I've tried, which looks like this, let me just zoom out a little again, was the VersaFine Claire. Let me just see, I thought I prepared another panel. Bear with me whilst I cut another panel. So sorry about that. So with this one, the VersaFine Claire's, again, I just stamped this. This one is the Sand Dune, so again, I would choose a lighter colour. With this one, I'm trying the Very Perry. I think that might be light enough. So again, I wouldn't go for the super dark colours. This one obviously is not water reactive, so you can't move any colour about. Giving that a little bit of a press. Oh, that is quite dark. But don't forget, when this is dry, you could also heat emboss over that. Or if you've got a good white pigment ink, I'll give that a try and see if I leave it to dry. I like the texture of that, really do. But I'll set this aside. So, and then all you need to do for these is to stamp over them. This one's a little bit wonky, by the way. And my thought was to choose something that goes with the shape you have. So for something like this, I thought a longer stamp. I've got the Flower Divine set here, or the Nigella Damascena. Yeah, I think I might go for these here. And you don't need to use the whole space. You could go clean and simple. So I'm thinking if I've got one going over the edge there and the other one going there, and I'll show you a little trick in a moment once I've set these down. Just contemplating whether I want them on the same level. I think I do. So I'm going to, let me just pop that down. So let's see if I can zoom out a little bit. I can. So once I've picked them up and they're stuck here, I can bend them a little bit. So I'm keeping the bottom as it is, but I'm actually bending this a little bit. So I don't have the straight plant. I've got it a little bit sort of swaying to the side. And you can especially do that with the longer ones that are not too thick. So I'm going in with my VersaFine Onyx Black. I really want this to be a bold look. You don't have to go bold. You could use some browns over this. Might actually be quite a nice look and not being too harsh. So just making sure I've got plenty of ink on there. Being mindful that I think I just put my finger in the ink pad. Should maybe get my pressure tool out, bear with me. Yeah, I need a bit more pressure there and a bit more ink on the top, I think. So that's why I use the stamping platform, but you don't need a stamping platform. Yeah, that's better now. So, got something, oh, that's just fluff, probably from my cat. So, all this would need then is to be put on the card base and have some sort of sentiment. I think something like this would work as a maybe even a male birthday card, but I was thinking sympathy card or thinking of you card. Whenever you need something plain, this would work. And my idea was that I'm not doing this because I want to keep the videos short, because I'm placing this on here. If you wanted to, you could come in with your ink pad, this is the VersaFine obviously now, and just colour in the background by just using your ink pad straight to the card. You can see I've got a heavyweight card so it doesn't bleed through. So I could go along the edges. I'll tell you what, I'll do that for you so you see what I mean. I'm opening it up for 3 of the sides, so we only need the edges. Oops, no, I need something. I need to put that down. I can't do it like that. Bear with me whilst I find some scrap paper. Ignore the advertisement. I use all the printouts we've got left over, so you can just go down with your ink pad just like that. Make sure that you don't dip your card into that lot because you don't want it messy on the inside. If you're not sure, cut a separate piece and glue it on the top. So, and for this edge here, I need to fold it backwards, obviously, so that I don't end up on the back of the card. Some edges are a bit juicier than others here, but I think that's all I need. Got a bit of a streak thing going on where I started off, but if I place this on here now, I've got this nice edge, and I think that's a good look as well. So I think quickly off camera, I choose a few images to go on my other samples, and then I just show you the finished samples, not all assembled, but just to give you an idea what you can do. No, I changed my mind because I wanted to show you one more thing. These stamps here, they are really tall, so I can use them in the full length, and I think this would be nice. I might just do that for one. But the other one, I would just like to ink, for this to sit a little bit lower, so I will only ink it up down to there. And again, like as before, I will stick them down first. I think this one I want straight, and the smaller one I will also bend a little bit. So as before, just moving the top a little bit, and I will ink it up only down to there. If you wanted to, you could ink it up all the way and then just take the ink off again, but I will just save myself that. Sometimes it's a little bit difficult to control. Yeah, I've already overstamped, so all I need to do is use my very messy inky binky and just wipe this off. Or you could put a mask on there, as in a little bit of copy paper, but I'm confident that this is okay. Just inking this one up again because I think I've taken a little bit off there. So the VersaFine Clear stays wet quite long, so you've got a little bit of time to play around. So I'm just thinking whether that is high enough for a sentiment, but I don't need to have a sentiment, so I think I just stamp it. Again, making sure I've got plenty of pressure on here. Oh, and I haven't cleaned it up properly, so I have got a little bit of bleeding there. But it's not a problem. I could either cut this down, or I could put, no, the sentiment strip wouldn't work down there, so I would probably just cut this down. But I always leave these things in with my video so you see happens to me too. So yeah, I would cut this down here, maybe cut it a little bit slimmer then and have a wider frame. So as I said, I would quickly finish off the other samples and then come back. So I've had a little play and I just want to show you my samples and ideas, but obviously you can go bonkers with this. I think it's a very simple technique, but obviously you can elevate it depending on how much time you would like to spend on your card. So with this one, I just stamped the cat here. Is it Luca? I think it's Luca. Stamped the little butterfly here, coloured that in just with an alcohol marker. Let me just zoom in a little bit for you as well. And then stamped the blessings. This one is from the Christmas words here. I'm not quite sure what it's called. I cut this apart years ago because I wanted the blessings for various occasions. So I think this works well. And I could put this either just on a white card or even a pink cardstock or pink background. You can stencil the background a little bit. I don't know. I will do that in the future. maybe even before I take the thumbnail for this photo. With this one, this actually worked quite well, although the periwinkle is, very peri, is quite dark. I could still stamp over this with the black onyx. I moved it upside down though, because this area was darker and I wanted the lighter spots here at the top. And then I just stamped with sympathy down here. This is not a Lavinia, this is from my favourite sentiment stamp set from Visible Image, the go-to words. Unfortunately, I find Lavinia don't have a lot of generic sentiments. I think they could do with something like that a little bit more. But I have a look in the shop when I go there on Friday, which is tomorrow. Yeah, exciting. So this one is the one I've already shown you. Again, I stamped a sentiment from Visible Image, but I want to show you a little trick. I didn't stamp that very well, and the U is a little bit faded. So I'm going to cheat on this, and I'm just going in with a fine liner pen, and I'm just going over that. Taking my time. It's a bit tricky because of the camera really being in my way, but I don't want to put my head over that. And this is a fine liner. Don't ask me where I got these from. It's just called fine line pen. That doesn't have a shine to it. So although it's not perfect just yet, I think it'll do. If I take my time, I could put another line there. But yeah, I think this works really nicely now. Yeah, that can be used as a sympathy card or for a friend who's poorly. Yeah, I really like that. And then with this one, I've got another little tip. Well, first of all, I put a sentiment down here. I cut this down and I thought I was happy with it. But this is my other tip, because these are so easy to make. If I'm not happy with it, I just put it in the bin. I've got another one here that I made earlier, so I could just stamp this again if I wanted it. Yeah, this is just, yeah, not for me. So it's not worth putting on cardstock. It's just cut paper. I can always use something for scraps at the back. But yeah, this is my very simple idea for today's video. I hope you like it. And if you do, you might want to give me a thumbs up. And if you'd like to see more of what I'm creating, you might want to subscribe to my channel. I'd be very happy about that. And obviously, after I've been shopping tomorrow for some lovely new Lavinia stamps, there will be hopefully a few more Lavinia videos coming up anyway. So I'm popping in again with two more ideas. So first of all, this one here, I've stamped again, and this time before I stamped, I just covered the bottom here just with some torn copy paper, and then I've got quite a good look here, and I had some space for the sentiment. But then I thought, this one here, what do I want to do with it? And I'm coming back to the idea of using a stencil. But you could obviously go in, just use a stencil as it is, doing it just maybe two corners. But I thought I'm going to use this as a mask, and I will just have a stenciled frame. So I cut this down to give an even frame all the way around. I'm just placing this down. I'm not gluing it down. And then I can put my stencil over the top. I'm just contemplating whether this is a good stencil. Let me just check another one, because this doesn't have a lot of detail. I think this one will be better, because you've got a bit more pattern to it just on the small edge. And I'm just coming in with my Villainous Potion, and I'm just doing some ink blending all around. So I could actually stick the stencil down in the middle on that bit, but I'm risking it. Oops, hoping not to shift the whole thing. So I'm hoping it's enough of a frame, going around in circular motions to get into all the nooks and crannies of this stencil. So, and I can now take this off and take this off, and have got a lovely frame. Let me take this away. Can you see? I think this is really pretty and sort of enhances the look of that panel, but also the flowery look. I really like this.